Welcome once again to this week's edition of An Irritable Person's Mailbag, during which I will read to you everything you could have read for yourself Monday through Friday on my Substack, Ask an Irritable Person. Monday. Dear Irritable Person, I was really depressed when the big ugly bill passed Congress and got signed into law, until I heard what the chairman of the Democratic National Committee had to say about it. His words really cheered me up, and I want to share them with you and your readers, because I'm a narcissist, and I assume that everyone else is experiencing the same feelings I am at the same moment that I'm feeling them. When the big ugly bill passed, the Democrats' chief guy said, more or less, I don't remember his exact words, "Today is actually a great day. This is the beginning of our march to victory. It's only a matter of time, perhaps a mere 2 or 3 more years, before everyone realizes how bad this bill is and Trump's approval rating sinks as low as ours." He continued, I think, "Once millions of people have lost their housing and health care, and crops are rotting in the fields because all the farm workers have been kidnapped by masked, unidentified thugs, Americans will finally have had enough, and they will, however reluctantly, vote Democrats back into office. Our path to power is as clear and straight as the steel-edged rulers my teachers used to beat me with, and it will be watered abundantly with the tears of liberals, conservatives, and independents alike. Let the pain increase." I found his words so inspiring. It feels so good to know that there's a strategy. Our suffering will bring us together as a country, which is kind of beautiful. Sincerely, Cockeyed Optimist. Dear Cockeyed, I guess that's a win-win for masochists like you, but what about those of us who aren't fans of suffering or losing? You know, the Constitution was designed at a time when there were no political parties. The founders' grand architecture of checks and balances started to get wobbly once the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans started going at each other's throats. Maybe we need some new political parties. The America Party versus the Democratic Socialists in 28, anyone? Sincerely, Irritable Person. Tuesday. Dear Irritable Person, I have so many goals that I want to accomplish in my life that I never feel like I make much progress on any of them on any given day. I feel like I'm going in a million directions. I feel overextended, like I'm made out of taffy. I just keep stretching and stretching. Where will it end? How far can taffy stretch? Sincerely, Overextended. Dear Taffy, may I call you Taffy? I prefer that to the name you chose for yourself. What's so awful about being like Taffy? Taffy is delicious. One of my favorite authors is Taffy Brodesser-Akner. Taffy has only good associations for me. Of course, too much taffy will kill you eventually. You need a balanced diet, that's all. When you're thinking about all the things you want to do with your life, be taffy. Dream big. Enjoy the sugar rush. But when you're deciding what you want to do on a particular day, be lean like chicken. Chicken is nutritious, full of vitamins, nutrients, and protein. But don't put more on your plate than you can eat in one sitting. You'll regret it. You might think, well, I'll have the extra as leftovers later in the week, but it's never as good, and some of it you'll never get to, and you'll end up tossing it out with the trash. Now, some days you may not be able to stick to your meal plan. Sometimes you'll feel like pizza rather than chicken. Other days, something will come up, and you'll only have time for Taco Bell. That's not great. But however your day goes, at the end of it, remember that everything you did was what you chose to do. It may not have been what you preferred to do, but you chose it. You may not have loved fetching your boss's Starbucks order, but you chose to do that rather than risk getting fired. Be like Taffy, and be like chicken. And goddamn you for making me so hungry. Metaphorically yours, Irritable Person. Wednesday. Dear Irritable Person, something's bugging me. It's been dormant for a couple of years now. I thought I preferred it that way, but it's starting to rear its ugly head again. I'm referring, of course, to my libido. I'm starting to want sex again after many years of living a very quiet, almost entirely celibate life. My libido used to get me into all sorts of tough spots, emotionally, physically, legally. I swore off it 5 years ago and haven't looked back. Well, lately I have been looking back. Looking back at cute men I pass in the street. Don't worry, it's not sexual harassment when you do that to another gay man. It's more like saying, "Hello, I like how you're wearing your clothes." For the past 5 years, I've been enjoying the pleasure of my own company. Literally. I rarely order out anymore, and I definitely don't accept deliveries. But more recently, as my life goals have expanded and dragged me out of the house and back to school and work, there they are. Men. Is this just a distraction my subconscious is waving in my face to keep me from focusing on my loftier life goals? Or am I just being human and experiencing, quote, normal, unquote, feelings? Is it possible to have a healthy, meaningful life and also get laid once in a while? Sincerely, getting hornier. Dear Hornier, no, it isn't possible. Celibacy is the way to go. I think your big mistake is that you're getting out of the house more. I don't recommend that. As a longtime hermit, I highly prefer solitude and self-pleasuring. Sometimes up to 6 or 7 times a day. It never gets old. 5 years of abstinence is a tricky time. It's easy to slide back into old, bad habits of intimate connection. At 5 years, you probably still remember, however distantly, the pleasures of sharing a bed with a real-life human. Don't be tempted by your rose-colored memories. Remember what happens when your sex partner wakes up and starts talking. Seriously, who wants to listen to that? Believe me, once you hit 10 years of celibacy, you'll never look back. You'll forget you even have a penis, except when you have to take a piss or you feel the compulsive need to masturbate. Fantasies are so much better than actual people. Less muss and fuss. Try it and write me back with your fantasies. Seriously, write me back. I need something to keep me going. My fantasies have gotten pretty stale and need refreshing. I'll switch some of the pronouns on yours to make them straight appropriate and go to town. Very sincerely, Irritable Person. Thursday. Dear Irritable Person, I'm hoping you can help me. I've always been a bit of a daydreamer, head in the clouds, that sort of thing. It was kind of cute when I was younger, but now that I'm an adult, it's getting worse, and it's interfering with my relationships and my career. Take it from me, your partner and your boss don't like it much when they realize you haven't heard a word they've said because you were lost in your own thoughts. I've tried meditation and therapy, and they work for a while, but then I slip out of the present and into my old head again. How can I stop disassociating and become a better partner and employee? Sincerely, Dreamer. Dear Dreamer, well, smell you, Nancy Drew. Oh, you want to become a better partner and employee, do you? Where do you want me to pin your gold star? On your bended knee or your ass-kissing lips? What's wrong with disassociating? With whom do you think you're corresponding? I live alone, in the woods. I spend all my time disassociating. I find the premise of your question highly insulting. Are you suggesting that there is something about me that could use a little improvement? You've got some nerve. Who's asking whom for advice, bucko? I'm fine. Fine. I'm disassociating right now as I write this. I'll scribble out a few words and then boom, I'm at a fancy dress ball in 1830s Vienna. Which scenario do you think I should spend more time in? An imaginary dress ball in 1830s Vienna? Or an actual cabin in the woods where I'm currently sitting in my own stink? If you said the latter, you're wrong. Why are you trying to harsh my mellow, man? If you want to be a productive member of society who listens to their colleagues and loved ones, that's your problem. Sincerely, Irritable Person. P.S. If you really want to spend more time in the dreary, real world, then here's some advice I just pulled out of my ass. Be compassionate with yourself. Notice when you're disassociating and gently bring yourself back into the present. Be patient. You didn't develop this habit overnight, and it won't disappear overnight. Just keep working on it and do the best you can. Personally, I think that's a load of crap, but hey, you do you. Friday. Dear Irritable Person, hello from the beautiful state of Wisconsin, where I'm not speaking with half of my family because we have profoundly different political views and can't discuss them civilly. I wanted to share a good news story with you and your readers, because usually I find your column to be very bleak and dispiriting. Recently, I heard from an old friend who I'd lost touch with for several years after he moved out of state. He's back now, and he reached out to me, saying he wanted to catch up over drinks. I had misgivings because I've been reading his Facebook posts, and let's just say his political views have swung sharply away from mine. I wasn't sure I wanted to see him again. I was afraid he'd go full conspiracy lunatic on me. I agreed to meet him for old time's sake, but I had very low expectations. And we ended up having a great time. We didn't discuss politics at all. Instead, we caught up on what we'd been up to, talked about our hopes for the future, and even shared the qualities we valued in each other. I was surprised to remember how much common ground we had. But then again, that's why we're friends. For our similarities, not our differences. Namaste. Reunited, and it feels so good. Dear Reunited, sounds like you had too much to drink while you were catching up with your old friend. That must have been some bar tab by the time you were done. I hope you remembered to tip your servers. They won't have to work for the rest of the month. Do you have any principles at all? How can you break bread or break open another bottle with someone whose politics is so diametrically opposed to yours? You neglected to tell me, but I'm guessing by your sign-off that you are the ineffectual radical and your friend is the evil fascist. Why would you want to find common ground with someone you disagree with? Who told you we were put on earth to love thy neighbor? Read some Darwin and take a good look around you, buddy. We're supposed to be at each other's throats, competing for mates and food as nature intended. No one is on my side, and I don't want anyone on my side. You are all maniacs. If you're on my side, it's only because you're waiting for me to turn my back so you can reach for that knife you've got tucked away under your loose-fitting long-sleeve shirt and gut me like a fish. I know how things go. You can't fool me. Common ground is just that, common. And ground is the thing that everyone walks all over. If you want to find common ground, you have to stoop. Do you want to stoop? Why aren't you reaching for the mountaintop? You'll have the whole place to yourself. There's only room for one at the tippy top. You won't last long in the low oxygen and freezing temperatures, but at least you'll go out on top. I'll take that over peace, love, and understanding any day. Sincerely, Irritable Person. And that's it for this week's mailbag. Look for Irritable Person's weekly catch-up audio mailbag every Sunday, and follow the daily column Ask an Irritable Person every Monday through Friday on Substack. Or subscribe. It's free and virtually certain to remain so for the foreseeable future.